Hey folks, David Ross here. In this video I'm going to be showing you how to remove a nut from a guitar. Regardless of whether it's an acoustic, electric, or bass guitar, the process is all pretty much the same. Now before we begin, I'd like to mention that this video is being featured not only on my own channel, but also on the Looth Group YouTube page. So if you're an aspiring guitar builder or guitar repair person, or if you've been in the craft for a long time, definitely check out the Looth Group and see what it's about. I've been doing this type of work since about 2008, and the Looth Group is not only a tremendous resource, but also an excellent bargain and a great way to connect with other luthiers. So check it out, and with that said, let's get into the video. Okay, so there are a few tools which you'll need in order to do this properly, and none of which are very hard to come by. At a minimum, you'll want to use a penknife or a sharp razor blade, a small hammer, a wooden block, this is one that I made myself, and a poker with the end ground off, or some type of substitute. I also like to use this magnifying headset. I find it useful for this and many other things. And also a pair of soft jaw pliers can be useful if the nut is really locked in. So this is a relatively straightforward operation. What you'll need to do is take your razor blade and score around the nut. This means across the fretboard, behind the nut, and also on both sides. You want to make sure that you score the finish so that when you remove the nut, you're not taking any finish with you. You want to be extra careful when doing this, and it helps to use a magnifying headset. Also be careful when running the razor blade across the fretboard, because occasionally there will be excess glue or a raised surface here, and you don't want to cut into the fretboard or the finish on the fretboard if there is any. You also want to be careful on the sides of the nut as well, because this portion is going to be visible, especially on the player side, and you want to make sure that you do a nice job here. One other thing to note is that if you're working on a Gibson style guitar, or in the case of this Yamaha, there is a raised lip behind the nut, and you want to be extra careful not to blow that out when you're hammering out the nut. Once you've scored around the nut, what I like to do is take my hammer and my block and just lightly tap the nut. And all we're doing here is just breaking the glue joint. So I just lightly tap across, and at a certain point you may feel it break loose. Depending on the guitar, the nut may be in very tight or not. If it is in particularly tight, what I like to do is take my ground off poker and my hammer and go to the side of the nut and tap it that way. I like to do this on the side that the player won't be seeing, just in case I slip. Just lightly tap it. Again, we're not using a tremendous amount of force here, and at a certain point the nut will come free. Anyway, that's it for now. I hope that you found this video useful, and if you did, feel free to like, comment, and subscribe. I'll talk to you next time. Thanks.